Okay, so One Piece chapter 1098. It was depressing. I mean, bro, the past like 3-4 chapters, we've been getting Kuma's backstory, and every time I read every single one of these chapters, it just, he might have the worst backstory in all of One Piece. Enough of the depressing bit, let's just jump right into the chapter, and hopefully I don't start crying. Alright, so the chapter, we start off with this beautiful color spread, and if you haven't heard the news already, Oda, let's just say he's being overworked. And the chapter manuscript, it's unfinished. It looks kind of like wacky. It's a little choppy. I'm gonna say this. Oda could quite literally give us stuff in chicken scratch. If he wrote it with a Crayola crayon and drew stick figures, I would not care. As long as I get a One Piece chapter, I'm cool. With that being said, Oda, bro, take a break. Take as long as you need. Your health is your wealth. If your health's not good, you can't get One Piece chapter. We know how much Oda loves One Piece. I love One Piece, and like, bro, we don't want One Piece to end. So take as many breaks as you need. It gives us a lot more content to talk about, things, theories to theorize, and literally, bro, go take a break. Let's get into the chapter. Starting off the chapter, the Revolutionary Base HQ in Baltigo. I have no idea what island that is. We're fighting on an island and liberating them. And Kuma has just been acting rash recently, and Ivankov was saying that because of how Jenny got captured. You know, I mean, look at the dedication on this man's face. I mean, so I didn't even realize that this was actually said in the chapter. The reason that she got captured was because that a celestial dragon caught her eye, and this just goes to show my point, just the fact that the celestial dragons, they're horrible people. We get further into the chapter and we just realize why that is. So as we keep going, we learn that the celestial dragons wanted to make her their bride. Even though learning this information, whatever island they were on, they ended up liberating it, and yeah, it just keeps going from there. So we get here, around 2 years have passed since Commander Jigini of the Revolutionary Armies was kidnapped and got wed to a celestial dragon. A lot of people, they saw that it had been 2 years and that she never got freed. A lot of people began slandering Dragon, and I can understand it, because if Dragon's hyped up to be that strong, you would think that he would go and, you know, save her. So it doesn't really make sense for him to just leave her there. But at the same time, you gotta think about it like this. Dragon is the figurehead of the Revolutionary Armies during this time, like before Saba, right? So there could have been a multitude of reasons that he couldn't go and get her. Whether just charging into Marie Joie. Because, I mean, if you think about it now, too, they just recently went and stormed Marie Joie in the manga just a little while ago. Stuff like that definitely takes some time to plan, to create, and knowing how I feel like Dragon thinks it's more of like a military like commander, like he wants to do things in like a set order. So just rushing in there to save her is just, it's not smart, and I can understand that. But to slander my man's name just because of that and calling him a fraud and all these other things, it's crazy and disingenuous. But at the same time, again, I can understand it. And he ends up getting on a transponder snail, and supposedly she's okay, maybe, but no, she's not. She got sick, she got thrown away, which, again, celestial dragons, horrible people. And she didn't want to see anybody and see the way that she was, and Kuma, obviously he wasn't standing for that and was trying to find her. He knew where she was and ended up going to her, which obviously was a church that they grew up on. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about this panel right here. And you see how sloppy it looks, and just like you can see that it looks unfinished. It looks like scribbles. And it's what I was saying. Literally, the entire chapter could have been written like that. I would have still read it, still appreciate it. I wouldn't have complained. I wouldn't have said anything about it. You wanna know why? Oda just giving us this just goes to show how much dedication he has for his work. It doesn't matter how bad he's feeling, he's still going to bring us a chapter. Now, do I like that about it? No, because I genuinely think that clearly, looking at this panel, it's clear that he's not at his best and that he clearly needs a rest. But this was just one of those examples of just like how he was saying that the manuscript was unfinished and that he wasn't feeling his best. Like, it's just one of those examples of just a bad panel. But like I said, I'm not complaining whatsoever. A One Piece chapter is a One Piece chapter. He was having this conversation. Gideon didn't want them to see her, but obviously Kuma wanted to see her. He was trying to figure out where she was, ended up realizing that she was on the church. He gets there, sees her in this terrible condition. Her skin turned blue because of the sun. Whatever disease she had, she got hardened like stone. We're gonna get there soon. And then yeah, he was just reminiscing about how like it's just such a sad moment. Then we also learn that she had a baby, and I was thinking about. When I saw this, I immediately got happy for Kuma. Then I thought about it and saw some stuff on TikTok. I went back and reread this, and I realized that that baby was made with the celestial dragon that she got married to. which means that not only did that celestial dragon throw Guinea out of the Marie Joie, I'm assuming, he also threw out the baby. That is nuts. I can't imagine what might have been going through Kuma's mind right there. Not only did he have to know that she got married to someone else that wasn't him, but also had a baby with someone else that wasn't him. Come on, bro. That is insane. But the fact that he stepped up to say that he was gonna raise her no matter what. W stepdad, W dad, W everything. I wouldn't even consider him a stepdad because her dad clearly wasn't shit at all. We get past this, we just get this collage of all these cute little family moments between him and Bonnie and all these things. It bounces back from him fighting with the revolutionaries to him bathing her to him sleeping. We got this like Easter egg with him and Sabo, and this felt so random to me, and I didn't understand why like Sabo was being shown here, but he's there, so it's gotta mean something. But then we keep going, and then we learn that Bonnie has the same disease that her mother had, which quite honestly, it makes sense because just how genetics work and all of those things, that makes sense. Kuma ends up quitting the revolutionaries because of this, because he wants to tend to his daughter, which again, W dad, W father, and obviously Dragon understands that. He vows that he's gonna find every single doctor in the world to help cure this illness. 7 years go by, Bonnie's now 5. I thought this was the craziest shit I had seen. Calling her an ugly vampire, getting the whole cross, that was insane. And ends up kicking him in the face. Like, they gonna bring a cross and say the cross is your weakness, which is being held up in a church. So, like, it's just kids. They're stupidest. Kuma has said, "You mean Jules?" And then here we learn that that's how she got the name Jewel Bonnie, because, you know, Jules on her cheek. They talk about the Sky Islands. And then this is where we learn about where Kuma was teaching Bonnie about Joy Boy and Nika and that whole thing. So, because recently in the manga, Bonnie had brought up, is this what like Nika and Joy Boy? And so this is where like she had learned it from. But then as we keep going, we learn that she has a disease called the Sapphire Scale. One Piece, there's some weird diseases in there. A disease that makes your skin hard. It's just fixed. We learned that the disease she has is the Sapphire Scale. Can't be healed, can't be fixed. There's no cure for it. Bonnie heard this and she heard it the wrong way. How she interpreted it was that by her 10th birthday, the disease would be gone. But how it was actually meant to be was that your 10th birthday comes, you're gonna be dead. So when Kuma finds out that she heard about this, he was trying to say that she had the wrong idea, but he didn't end up saying it in the right way that she should have taken it, which was that she's gonna die. He didn't end up saying that and was just letting her believe that she was gonna be better by her 10th birthday. And I low-key have a crazy theory with this. Simply with this panel right here. I think, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Devil fruits are created from human desires, human wants, human needs, and things like that, right? What if that interaction right here is what created the HH fruit? And the HH fruit is the reason that Bonnie is still alive. And it maybe like paused her age, stopped her aging, or something like that. Just throwing that out there. But as we keep going, only a year later, something happens in the Sorbet Kingdom, and the king, he came back just as monstrous as ever, and wants to completely eradicate. Remember how like the islands, they got like split in half? Well, you know, he wants to basically just eradicate that whole other half of the island. And this is where I think that Kuma becomes a slave to the celestial dragons and saves the island, and that's how he became a slave, became a cyborg. Break next week, which is good because Oda, he needs some rest. So what are my final takeaways from this chapter? Kuma has the worst backstory and most tragic one in all of One Piece. His wife got piped by a celestial dragon. His kid is now a celestial dragon. His wife died of a crazy illness. His daughter was suffering from that same illness. His village is now about to be in shambles again. So he has the worst, most tragic backstory in all of One Piece. Number 2, Bonnie's a celestial dragon. It's just confirmed that in the manga, she's 12, real time. Number 3, Dragon is not a fraud. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation why he couldn't go and get Guinea right away. And number 4, Oda needs to get a lot of sleep next week and recuperate his energy. There's so much to talk about and unpack with this chapter. I'm just thinking about how I might do these videos. So I'm gonna figure that out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you sub up because a lot of y'all are not subscribed. So make sure you subscribe.